Hi, I'm Ryan Tolliver. Today I'm going to talk about dietary supplements. And mainly, you're going to learn if dietary supplements are safe and if they're effective. So, first I'm going to talk about a little bit about the regulation of dietary supplements. From 1938 until 1994, they were under the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And you got to think, 1938. I mean, whenever they wrote this, they weren't even thinking about dietary supplements. So everything was good for around 50 years. Well, then the FDA in the 80s and then early 90s, they started to raid some companies, sue some companies for what they were putting out, what they had. And the industry was getting upset. The FDA wanted to do even more. And eventually the federal government said, we got to do something else. We have to make a new regulation. So that's where DSHEA came in, 1994. And it's actually still the regulation that we still follow today. So let's talk about the pros of DSHEA. DSHEA gave the FDA the enforcement authority to actually go in and take products off the shelf if they deemed it to be unsafe, an imminent threat, or just an unnecessary risk. So this is an example, and this is, it's crazy. This is out there, but let's say a company made a product and it had cyanide in it. The government knew that. They can go and they can take that product off the shelf immediately. They're not going to let that happen. So they also gave the government power. If they, after the product's been on the shelf, they can test it, and if they found out that the company was being untruthful, the product wasn't safe, the FDA can take legal action against that company. So, next pro. Claims made about products had to be backed up with evidence. There had to be data to back it up if you're going to make a claim about the product. Also, if you're making a claim about the function or the structure, how it affects the body, you have to put words along the lines of this hasn't been tested by the FDA, this can't treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. Or it's not meant to anyways. So next is manufacturers are supposed to follow good manufacturing practices. That's in there. And then I'm going to talk about the main pro here of DSHEA, and that is that it exists. Really, the regulation was terrible. Everything was out there. There was nothing on dietary supplements in the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So DSHEA was like the crowning achievement of the time. It brought everything under one roof, and that's its pro, that it's even there. So let's move on to the cons. This is the one that really sticks out at me. Manufacturers are responsible for their products and being truthful about it, that for the safety of their products and being truthful about it. Basically, they can put out, they can market a product, whatever they want. They don't have to provide proof. They don't make a claim. So, and then the next con is the FDA can only test the safety of the product after it's been marketed. So that's possibly after you've bought it and after you've ingested it, consumed it. So you can see the problem there. The last con I'm going to talk about is, we mentioned earlier in pros how companies they have to have good manufacturing practices. Well, the FDA doesn't have the money or the manpower to make sure every single company in the industry that has good practices. It's just unreasonable. So you don't know if the company has good practices or not, how they're making their products, what the workplace is like most of the time. So let's talk about the benefits of supplements. There is evidence that supplements can be beneficial, but the majority of supplements out there, there's not enough testing to have a conclusive evidence that the supplements are going to help. Like I said, there's been enough testing, but most of them there's not. And then there's some, they know they don't help. So, but one good way you can use them is if you struggle with your diet. For an example, let's say you hate milk. You don't drink milk, you can't stand it. Well, in that case, taking a vitamin D or a calcium supplement, that might really help you. And that's probably a place where you could do that. It would be good. A supplement would be good for you. If you just struggle throughout the day to get food, you haven't eaten in a while, they can. That's good for you too. That'll really help. Um, Medical conditions. I'll go ahead and I'll give an example here. Celiac disease. They actually have a problem absorbing B12. This is another case where a supplement would be beneficial for that, a B12 supplement. So, let's talk about the cons of supplements. Overdose of nutrients. I'll give 2 examples here. Women in pregnancy, if they take too much vitamin A, they're at a higher risk of birth defects in their children. And this one really stuck out to me. The leading cause of poisoning in children is iron supplements. That's crazy. So, let's talk about effect on medications next. There's just, like I said before, there's not been enough testing. You're not going to know how a lot of these supplements are going to react with different kinds of medicine. There hasn't been enough testing that you know that these products are 100% safe, or what they interact with and what they don't interact with. But I'm going to name off the worst. Just St. John's wort. St. John's wort has a list of medications that it interacts with that is so long that I do not have time in this video to say all of them. And some of them are, extremely important heart medications, things that if you get messed up with your St. John's wort, it's really going to cause problems for you. Finally, there's a reason supplements are called just that. They're not meant to replace your diet. There's such things like phytochemicals. You can only get that from food. You can't get that from supplements. So, like I said, supplements are just that. They're not meant to replace your diet. All right, finally, supplements versus a healthy diet. When you go back and you look at the pros and the cons, it doesn't seem worth it to me, especially when, listen to this, there's limited evidence that supplements will help a person who has, who is healthy and who has a healthy diet. And with limited evidence, nobody's even for sure if it really helps if you're already healthy and you're eating well. And if you go back and you look at the pros and the cons, and it doesn't seem worth it to me personally. The cons are just too risky. So, in conclusion, my personal opinion is I would take a dietary supplement, but like I said before, it would just be if I ever developed a disease where myself and not only my doctor also thought, it would be good if you took this supplement. Or if, if I knew I'd been going quite a while without getting the nutrients that I needed, my diet had been really bad, I might take a supplement then, maybe. But like I said, the cons are just too much for me, and I'm going to do my best to stay away from it. So, thanks for listening. My references are listed down below, and thanks.